Hello, welcome. All right. Hello, Carmen from Toronto. Go ahead and put in the chat where you're from and if this is your first time. Excellent. We're going to wait just a few minutes here as people are coming in. And let me know if this is your first time or if you've been to any class before. That would be great to know as well. I'm feeling we're going to do a little bit of warming up. So we'll do a little bit of Qigong, kind of warm up and exercises so that we can absorb the talk and the meditation more deeply in a moment here. Let's see. Can you guys hear the music? Hello, Pita Brooke from North Queensland. Excellent. Welcome back. Steve from Nashville. Can you hear me above the music? Okay, great. Thank you, Glenn. Thank you, Pita. Is it Pita or Peta? Pita? Let me know the pronunciation. All right. Pita. Is that right? Anyway. Okay. Oh, pizza. Yeah. Okay, good. I did it right. Good. So as we're waiting for people to come in, you can just go ahead and move the body, warming it up. Feel your feet. Let me make sure this. Okay. Bringing my mic down. Can you guys still hear me with the music? Yes? All right. Go ahead and just move. If you're obviously in the car, you can still bop to the music. Feel your tanjan. So tanjan is 2 inches below the navel, and then we have our feet that you want to feel. So there's Yongchan points in the base of your feet, right here. Okay, so you want to ground that down, and if you move your feet, you can feel that point more. And then as you feel your feet, go ahead and tap 2 inches. So you want to curl your hands like this, activate your acupressure point in the middle, and then bring it down 2 inches below to the middle and center of your body. Like this. Good. It's a bit quiet on the music. Yeah, it's going in and out. So let me see this. Okay, let's try this one. All right. So we don't have to have music, although music is great because energy travels through light, sound, and vibration. And welcome, Tiffany. And we want to be able to feel the vibration of the music, but it's not totally necessary either. So I just got back from Sedona for a week and I'm like filled up. So you guys are all gonna get a blast of energy here. Connect in to the heart. Can you guys hear this music? Can you hear me over this music? Yes? No? Yes? Put some hearts or you can put in the chat. Okay. So we're gonna go ahead and tap. Good. Thank you. Okay, good. Yay. Thank you for giving me feedback, Laura, Tiffany, and Kina. Okay. So go ahead and tap your tanjan. Pizza cannot hear the music. Okay. There is no share sound like there is in Zoom on here. So it's on the computer. As long as you can hear me, that's what matters. And most of this class is a lecture, so you're not going to be listening to music anyway. So it's not a too big deal. But thank you for letting me know. It's a drumming, just imagine drumming. Okay, but I'm loud and clear, great. Okay, so just go ahead and tap, 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 tap your lower danjan. And today we're going to be talking about map of enlightenment that is inside of your body. It's pretty profound. It's very profound. So right now we are tapping the lower danjan, or the second chakra, which is 2 inches below the navel. At the same time, you have outer danjans in your hands, which we're activating with your fist, as well as your feet by bouncing. So imagine energy laser beams shooting out of the center of the balls of your feet into Mother Earth as you ground and root through the feet. Feel your feet and drop your whole weight. So it's empty on top and heavy on the bottom. Yes. So you want to have loose shoulders. You want to empty your mind out. And imagine that you can shake your head side to side like you're shaking all the stress out from the day, all the energy you don't really want, and you're purifying it and releasing it into the ground. Inhaling through the nose, smile out. Again, inhale through the nose, smile out. Welcome, Tatiana. Okay, great. Inhale again to the nose, smile out. When you smile, it loosens up the brainstem, this almond point here. Every single thing we do, I do not have time to explain, but there's multiple layers and layers of meaning of exactly why we're doing every single little movement we're doing. And today we're going to reveal a little bit more of those layers in our talk on enlightenment and the map of the soul that's inside the body. So again, what we're doing is activating water up, fire down principle. So we're bringing all that hot energy down into our feet, our core, and all that cold, stagnant energy from sitting and not moving the body enough up through the kidneys. It transfers up the spine, that meridian, and then it calms and cools the mind. So we want an empty, cool, calm mind and a hot core that can fire up, boost your immunity and many other things, versus being hot-headed and reactive and having a cold, stagnant gut. Okay, so if you start feeling heat or saliva in the mouth or sweating, even just a little bit, congratulations. Water up, fire down. So keep relaxing and use gravity to feel your feet. Yes. Empty top, heavy bottom. Good. Then taking your thumbs, go like this. We're going to heat up your lower intestinals. Again, soft knees, feel your feet. Suck your belly button into the spine like this. Good. And relax the shoulders. Oh, yes. 1, 2. And as you pull the belly button in like a crunch standing up, feel the heat being generated. Imagine an energy ball growing there. Inhaling, exhaling. Good. Ooh, I can feel it getting very, very hot. Can anybody else feel the danjan getting hot? So once we get this activated, then we can begin our talk. And what I want you to do is continue activating your danjan as we talk. So intestinals you can do anytime, especially while you're driving. It's really great for posture, but you can do it at checkout line, on a Zoom meeting, really anytime at all. It's pretty incognito. We recommend building up to 1,000 a day, but just start with 100. It just takes about 20 minutes to do 1,000. Excellent. In some of our Qigong classes, in my private classes, we do 1,000 intestinals in the class. It's simple to do, you just have to be consistent. Okay, anybody feel heat? Go ahead and put some hearts or just put something in the chat. Yes, I feel heat in your danjan. Your second chakra. Nobody feels heat. Okay. Okay, kinda good. Laura, yes. Okay, we got some hearts. This is interactive. It's not just TV, so FYI. Okay, excellent. So we have some people hot. Let's begin because we have a lot to cover. So, the brain and enlightenment. Let me turn this off. Okay. Leave. Okay, so we have been on a journey. So we're looking at this book, The Living Tao, Timeless Principles for Everyday Enlightenment by Ilchi Lee. He's one of my energy masters, an enlightened living human being. Very interesting story. After 21 days of ascetic practice, of no lying down, no sleeping, no food, just water, and food is pretty easy to fast for that long, but not sleep or lie down. It's very tough. Obviously you can imagine. So after going on a mountaintop, that's where he received his enlightenment after 21 days of receiving cosmic energy, and had a choice to, in later months, had a vision of a destructive world. There's a lot of stuff going on right now, not just in Gaza, but everywhere, Ukraine, just all the chaos we have in the world. And then it was like a destructive world, and then there was a green, sustainable, very happy, enlightened world. And he chose to stay for that world, and has spent now 41 years dedicated to that. So that's why I came across this practice with Qigong. It is a Sindo-Korean lineage and baseline, and I'm Korean as well. But anyway, extraordinary commitment and vision. I just got back from Sedona, Arizona, so I got to go at the Energy Mastery retreat with a bunch of other energy masters, and we went into nature, we meditated, we really worked our bodies inside out. So let's see if I can share some of those practices today. But for those of you who are new, and maybe this is your first class, I don't know if anybody said it was their very first time. You all might be non-newcomers. Anybody new here? If not, then I will not go through the whole thing. But so we're on the final, second to last chapter marker. And Laura, your new book can follow along. Okay, great. Excellent. Okay. Pizza, haven't done much Qigong. Good. This class is not purely Qigong. I have that class usually on Saturday or Sunday mornings. So this one is lecture style, but we go into meditation too. So just FYI. Okay, great. So as far as the Tao, we've talked last week about the illusion of death and all the levels of death that you can die at. And really how it's a gift that's precious for the soul to awaken to who, how precious really this life is, and how suffering is actually, one of the three truths. This was an earlier chapter, as well as how everything transitions, everything's permanent and everything's empty, meaningless. I know I'm going over this very quickly, but when we don't approach it as bad or good, that's just kind of the state of things, then we can have power with accepting things as they are, not condoning it, but accepting it so that we can now address it versus be in denial or gloss over it or fix it. So what we want to do here is be people, energy masters that can awaken the Tao. The Tao is, again, this was all chapter 1 and 2. The Tao is universal life force energy that is both the tiniest particle of quark space that you'll see in an atom, that's between neutrons and the nucleus and the electrons flying around, all that empty space. If you had an atom that was blown up to scale to the size of a football stadium, and the nucleus is actually only like a blueberry or a ping pong ball big, and then the rest of the electrons are flying around miles away, and it's crazy, right? Because if that's one atom, that's a lot of energy that's working around. So that's the energy that you and I are. That is the Tao. So from the tiniest elements up to the biggest cosmos of the galaxies is the Tao, but the Tao is also this foreground and the background at the same time. It's you, it's me, it's everything that's matter, whether it's sentient or not. So the Tao is kind of like everything, life force. Again, I'm giving you a very high gloss from when we would spend an hour on each of these topics. So we're kind of putting this is like the chapter that really puts everything together. So it's a perfect one. Laura, for you to start in on, and Kina. Is it Kina or Kina? I think I asked you last time. I'm so sorry. But at any rate, if you have any questions, please put them in the chat as we go, and also at the end, there will be time. So, the companion you have, we've talked a lot about the body, right? What is the body's role? Kina. Good. Thank you. So, your body has the map of the soul built into the chakra system, into the meridians. But once you know what this map is, then it's very easy. I was thinking about breaking out my whiteboard today because it's fun to draw. And I keep thinking I'm on Zoom, but I'm not, which has a whiteboard on it. I might be able to use that. Anyway, so the body has your energy system. And so before we even understand the chakra system, we have to understand, how does the soul complete itself? Okay, so again, we're coming from a Korean Sundo tradition here. But you can consider, not like the truth, but that human beings actually have 3 births. You can experience, I should say, the 3 stages through 3 births. So in the chakra system, there are 3 energy gates and palaces that allow birth to happen. So for those that don't know, first chakra is like your anus. Second chakra is your tanjan, your lower danjan, 2 inches below the navel, midway to the body, towards the spine, where the womb is, okay? Third chakra, you can go ahead and kind of look at this on yourself, is right between your chest, like between your nipples and your navel, the chungwan, okay? This is the 3rd chakra. And then 4th is your heart, 5th is your throat, 6th is your 3rd eye, 7th is your baekgwa, and then there's many more chakras, 19, 20, that go above you, okay? So we're just focused on the body ones. And in birth, right, you go from the 2nd chakra, the mother's womb, out, right, the vagina, the canal, out the 1st chakra. So the 1st chakra we call Earth's gate, because it's the gate with which you come into the earth. And then you have another birth that's possible when, we've talked about this in earlier chapter, like chapter 7 or 8, when you have the heart, soul lives in the heart. The soul lives in the heart. The soul is an essence of source energy, like a little aspect, and it lives inside the membrane, like literally with your ego. Okay? And there's a thin membrane between them. And they kind of, I don't want to say they fight for power, because the soul ultimately is all, but you can either be strengthening and feeding the ego, right, or feeding and strengthening the soul. And that power can either grow or like they go like this. So again, when you have this second birth is when this is another gateway, is your throat, the 5th chakra, and then you have your divinity. And I'm going to go kind of fast here. I'm assuming there's like a level of spiritual knowledge already. So if I'm confusing, you're like, what are you talking about? Please put anything in the comments or chat to ask questions so I can slow down. But otherwise, I'm going to keep rolling here. So the 5th chakra is a gateway to the soul meeting its divinity. So the divinity is in your pineal gland. And by divinity, I mean like the actual consciousness, the thing that is distinct, right? Because our brains are so much like any other animal. The brainstem is designed for survival, right? The limbic system is the feeling brain. But then our neocortex is distinct because tigers don't sit around going, what is my purpose? What is the meaning of my life? Why am I here? They don't care, right? They're just responding and present in the moment instinctually. So when I say divinity, I'm talking about that thing that asks itself, why am I here? That thing that's wondering like what its purpose is. That voice, okay, is going to call your soul's voice, and I'm also going to use the term divinity, okay? So the divinity is in you already. Like, you need to go find it. You don't need an intermediary. It's already in all y'all. You're born with it, and there's just a lot of layers around the soul a lot of layers around the divinity light, right, that make it hard. So your thoughts, your emotions, your limiting beliefs, your preconceptions are all layers in the way of the core source of your soul shining its light super bright. So back to the second birth, you've got the divinity like waiting here, kind of, I know this is funny sounding, kind of like an egg of a mom, okay, and then like the sperm is like the heart, this in the soul in the heart, okay, and has to come through the throat chakra and merge. When this merges, you become like enlightened in the more traditional sense of like how you might know a living saint these days. There's no more, my energy masters are both enlightened. And how they describe it is that it's like you still feel emotions, you're just not swayed by them at all. And so you're able to like live life like in bliss completely if you wanted, not because, you know, obviously there's horrible things happening, but because I don't know how to explain it other than you stay in that ocean that many of us have experienced, right? We've all had moments of enlightenment when we're in nature, or we go super deep in our meditation, or we have a profound sense of oneness and unity. Maybe it's through music, right? Whatever. So everyone's got their own access into their own flow, but that, you know, that flow feeling, that's an enlightened moment where you're enlightenment, okay? You're one. So they just stay in that place like 24/7. That's like, but they're still feeling all the feelings because why? They have this human bag, you know, I would say a skin bag with organs. You've got this like body, okay? Now, I don't want to dishonor the body by saying it's just a skin bag with organs because the body is the temple of the soul, right? It's the home of the soul. So we want to take care of this thing, but this thing like is what has a lot of limitations. It's really bent on desires. It's why the ego has to exist, you know, has an identity, all these things. So we kind of have to work with our machinery here. Okay, but the soul, you're truly a soul inside of a little body versus most people live life, even if you're spiritual, they might know this, but they don't live it. They live like they are their body. Like you are your thoughts and you are your emotions. And that's when we get in trouble and we get stressed out and overwhelmed because we keep associating to the identity of the thoughts and emotions and feelings and body sensations we have that are in fact have nothing to do with our soul, right? Our pure, perfect source energy soul. So that's the second birth. And then the third birth is when the sixth and the fourth comes up through the gateway, fifth chakra meets, you're enlightened. And then, I don't know if you guys know this, but once you're enlightened, that's like not the end. There's like a whole other level of enlightenment. Different masters that live in different, I mean, even as a light body, there's many different dimensions of frequency that you can play at. Okay, so let's say you never come back to Earth, you can still play in many different dimensions. 20th dimension, oh, I'm going to hang out in the 8th dimension today instead of coming all the way down to the 3rd. Where planet Earth is very low, heavy, and dense here. Okay, so the third birth is top of the head, pekwe. We call it pekwe, crown chakra. So like when little babies are born, you'll notice it's like really soft, the fontanelle here, and the bone plate hasn't grown. And in Sundo tradition, right, it's Sundo, by the way, if you're not familiar, most people aren't probably, it's an ancient spiritual civilization way back that traces 9,000 years ago. Not 2,000, but 9,000 years ago. They had, it was very, it's kind of like how Tibet runs with a spiritual leader, that's the Dalai Lama. You know, it's both a political and spiritual leader in one. It was an enlightened civilization like that. That in that tradition, they believed the fontanelle, the seventh chakra, is where the soul exits, goes in and out. So at death, like we talked about last week, the soul, once you take your last breath, hopefully on an exhale, it exits here. And that's this third birth, is away from the body, right? The life force, your chi is gone. And you birth back into source. So anyway, so those are the three births. Your physical human birth, your enlightenment birth here, and then like away from this dimension, earth birth. Earth birth. Let me look at the chat really quick. Soul ego partnership. Thank you, Cat Blue. Yeah, I am that I am. Yes, equanimity. Acceptance doesn't mean condoning. Yes, excellent. I call them different Disneylands. You have such a fun cadence with your caps lock. I don't know if that's intentional or not, but anyway, so those are the 3 births, and there's like a name for each of the chakras that you may not have heard of before that mirror each other and are very symmetrical. So I'm going to go through kind of each of the chakras and then their names really quickly. And last time I did not get through the whole chapter, so I want to make sure I pace myself this time. Okay, good. We've covered a lot of this already, but I really want to spend time on the 5 steps of brain education. Okay, so if we have time, I will go into each of the chakras. I'm just going to give you a very high-level overview. As we go through each chakra, please place your awareness in that chakra. I can give you a sound as well that is the resonance for the frequency of that chakra. It's a little sound healing here. Okay, let me grab this. And this is, I'm using this from, I don't know if you know Jonathan Goldman. He's a 40-year sound healer musician. So the sound, I will just briefly say as we go through chakras. So number 1, first chakra is Okay, so I'll put that here in the chat. First chakra is Okay, so if you're in the car or you're listening or wherever you are, you can just go The way to remember this one is like when you go on the toilet, you go right? When you're trying to go get something out, there's a reason for that. So anyway, you can just go okay, as maybe you can't hear me if you're but you can mentally even think about as a sound. So the first chakra, and many of you may already know this, but again, we call it the Earth's gate because that's where humans actually come out into Earth. And this is responsible for a lot of your survival. So if you're having issues with money or with basic kind of survival elements, you want to clear out that first chakra of energy blocks, and there's different Qigong exercises you can do for that. If we have time, we might do a 7 chakra clearing through the body through Qigong exercises, but for right now I want to just go quickly through each one so we have enough time for how to activate the soul's completion map in the body. Okay, so the second chakra is the sound ooh, like ooh, ooh. Okay, ooh. Okay, second chakra. So you can kind of focus now on your second chakra, which is the danjan. I always say the lower danjan. So there's 7 danjans on your body, not the chakras. Okay, I don't want to confuse you. There's 3 inner danjans, your 2nd, 4th, and 6th chakra, and then 4 outer danjans on both your hands and your feet that we always call yongchan. I say activate your jiangshim. So we're activating all the energy centers in a Qigong class all the time. Second chakra, you can go ooh and feel the vibration of that sound in the second chakra. Ooh, I feel it. It's called the Earth's Palace because that's where our little babies are born. So the fetus grows in the Earth's Palace, which is the name of the second chakra. And after the womb develops, for 10 weeks, the emerging 9 months, the child emerges right into a human. So then it goes into the third chakra. So third chakra sound is O, O-H. Instead of ooh, it's O. So go ahead and say O and feel the vibration of your third chakra right between the nipple and the navel, this area. This is your power center. Your willpower is developed here. So if you're indecisive or you don't want to do something, you're blocked here. You can see where you're blocked in any of the chakras if you imagine an energy line or laser coming down to the top of your head, and you can feel or imagine the energy coming down through, and then there's parts where you're I can't feel it anymore because it's blocked, right? So wherever you're blocked, you can see which chakra you're blocked in. Use a little sound healing, do some Qigong exercises, right, to shake it out or tap it, and then that helps. clear it so you can feel the energy all the way through. So again, this third chakra manages your appetite, it's your ambition, it's your willpower, personal willpower, and all three of these first chakras really are all about your basic needs, right? And it corresponds into the brain. Okay, so these are like your brain stem. The brain has three parts. It's like your brain stem, which is the first three chakras. It's all around your basic needs being met. So whether that's with food and survival and money, and then relationships, it's like your second chakra, and the vitality there. And third is like your willpower, your ambition, making it kind of thing. So all of this is also connecting into your brain stem. So we're going to connect a lot of the brain with the body today. Then you have the limbic system, which is the feeling brain. Okay, now we go into the fourth chakra, your heart, the feeling, right? And that's where the emotions and the ego are too. So feelings are different than emotions. So I want to make that distinction. Think of feelings more like the actual body sensation of feeling something, versus the mind thinking it's sad and whining. And kids are a great example of distinguishing, when someone's like actually hurt and crying versus like pretending they're hurt and crying because it's like kind of whinier sounding. That's the ego, right? And the thinking about feeling versus actually feeling in the sensation where it's like raw and pure and you feel it 100%. Okay, so that's the fourth chakra is known as the human palace. Okay, so that's where the energy of the soul dwells and grows, and you develop the traits of, this is a prior chapter of the Tao, of the 5 traits to develop your soul: honesty, sincerity, responsibility, courteousness, and responsibility. Honesty, sincerity, responsibility, courteousness, and truthfulness. And that's where we also, again, another chapter that we talked about, experience the different levels of love, right? So there's the individual love for your family and yourself, kind of your small circle, and then you grow the love, and it's like for the nation, for an organization, for a larger community group, and then Tao love, the highest level, is like for all of humanity, all conscious, all sentient beings, non-sentient and sentient. So this, if you haven't developed this fourth chakra and you're still at the family level, right? You just can't really, love a whole country. What about people that believe differently than me or politically different, right? So that's why world peace ain't gonna happen without inner peace, because if we can't even handle growing our love to that level, which is just the middle level, right? Hyo, Chung, and then Tao, like we gotta get to Tao level of love that we can experience, and then world peace will cease too. World peace can be a reality, at least coexistence, okay? Then killing each other. All right, so the fourth dungeon, right, or this is the middle dungeon we call it, is the human palace, because that's where the soul grows and develops. Then we talked about the fifth chakra is the soul's gate. Oh, I forgot the sound for the fourth is ah. So when you're excited about something and you go, ah, heart, chest opens, right? So that's the sound that's resonant for the fourth. Moving to the fifth chakra, the sound is I. So you can go ahead and try that. I, like E-Y-E, I, and it does, right? It resonates here. It's not down here in your gut. I, and mix it with ah. Try ah. Ah, you could feel here a little bit, but try to feel it in your heart. Ah. Okay. So again, going to the fifth chakra, this is the soul's gate. The name's the soul's gate, right? Because we talked about how from the heart, that soul has to go through the soul's gate to meet with the divinity in the sixth chakra. The only way this energy, literally, metaphysically, invisibly, can come through is if the energy is light and bright and clear and pure enough. So kind of think of that hot air balloon again. These were earlier chapters of the Tao. We talked about this. You got to let your baggage go, right? All your emotional baggage, like the sandbags on a balloon, go so the thing can fly and rise. Otherwise, the thing's not going to rise. It's too heavy. It's too dense. You're holding on to resentment. I'm going to go kill someone because they're not my ethnic, whatever, like is happening in the world. All that's like heavy, so it can't rise through the throat to meet the divinity. So until you're free from your own attachments, from your own desires, from your own emotions, from the ego, then the ego is gonna take a hold, right? It can't, your soul can't arise through that fifth gate. Okay, but again, this chapter ties in everything. So, like we talked about in the past chapter, in order to reach mu'a. Mu'a is a Korean term that means mu is translated to nothingness, like the state of kind of 0 point, like the void, like nothingness, but everything at the same time. Mu'a. Then it can pass through that fifth chakra. And this is, again, that second birth I referred to earlier. Okay, so then the next is sixth chakra, and that sound is A. You can try that. A. It kind of resonates here in the top of the head more. A. And now we are encountering the energy of divinity in the brain, in the pineal gland specifically. So, this is called Heaven's Palace. So we had the soul's gate, right? And then the heavenly palace. So then, again, when you merge, it's something called Shin Il Hapko, which is a Korean term that means the oneness and uniting of one energy. So God, the divinity, and humanity, right, the human's palace, they unite into oneness and the source of the universe. Okay, sometimes it's called the third eye, etc. Then we move into the seventh, which is E. So you can go ahead and say E. E. This is the seventh chakra, top of the head. E. Okay, so the we call the crown chakra Great Heaven's Gate. So again, it's another gateway, right? We have the fifth chakra was the soul's gate to come into the divinity. Now we've got the Heaven's Gateway to go out of the body when we pass away from this life or transition from this body into all the energy that is. So again, death is an illusion, right? We learned in the last chapter, because as is birth, it's just a different form. The energy is just taken a different form. With the body, without the body. In a lighter form that's not as dense, etc. Okay, so that are all the chakras and all the names of the chakra. And I'm not going to go into it, but if you actually drew it out and all the names, it's perfectly symmetrical at the heart. So you've got one, you've got the heavenly gate to the earth's gate, where the feast comes out, where your soul passes out. You've got, the I'm not going to go through each one, but there's mirror and symmetry, and that is the map of the soul on your body happening. Yes, cat. So the other sounds, so there's O for the third chakra, fourth is A, fifth is I, and sixth is A. Oops, I missed the fifth. Is I. And seventh is E. Okay, it's a little slow here. There you go. And so that's your summary. So how do we activate the chakras? How do we activate this system of soul completion? So, again, looking at the chakras, the first, second, and third are controlling your sexuality, your appetite, your physical life energy, the drives that other animals have. And the function of those three chakras flourish more greatly, honestly, in animals. They're way better at those things than us, leopards. Anyway, so, but those three chakras don't quite describe the essence of the human soul or the nature. The fourth chakra, right, is felt in humans, some animals too, right? Dogs, horses, elephants, like they have so much emotion and feeling and caring and heart. But the fifth and sixth is where, and seventh is where we get into where humans are delineated. Again, if you just entered, our divinity is that thing that asks the question, why am I here on earth? What is my purpose? that a dog or a tiger does not ask and care about. Okay, so that thing is the 5th, 6th, and 7th chakra, which is your opportunity, your choice, right? This plan is about choice, to empty yourself of attachments, of emotions, to get light enough to ascend from the body. Whether that's your chosen time of passing, or just, masters are able to ascend from the body, kind of be in 2 places at once, like that. They have the energy mastery to do that with their energy. So, you can think of to activate it. If you've gone to my Qigong Tai Chi classes, that's what we're doing, is activating without me saying that. So obviously, food and oxygen give us energy. The air we breathe gives us energy. And there's key energy, life force energy, innate in every single body cell. That is the boundless, infinite source of energy within that you can tap into. So, in short, to activate your chakras, which is to activate your soul's completion and the chakras, the map of the soul on your body, simply, you just do energy training, which is a lot of the exercises that we start with our class we did today with the intestinals. Are you still doing them? You can still do them. Another practice you can do as I'm talking is to continuously smile. And even if, there's lots of science and TEDx talks on this, but if you smile, even if it's forced and you don't feel it, it actually still sends hormones and things to your brain because your brain doesn't know the difference. And if you get tired here in your muscles, you can take a pen or a pencil. Oh, look, you're smiling. Pro tip. So practice smiling and doing intestinals, sucking your belly button into the spine as I'm talking to continuously open and feel the shift in your energy. You'll feel a lot of maybe blockages initially, but then it clears up. So back to energy training. So you can actually, that's why a lot of masters and things don't have to eat a lot, because they don't have to utilize these like dense materials of food and air. You can just tap into the innate life force key energy that's inside already. So where the mind goes, right, energy flows, and there's the third part of that statement, matter forms. Oxygen and blood flow too. So that's why your awareness, your consciousness, wherever it's going, if it's on the body, like right now, place your awareness in the danjan versus what am I going to do tomorrow? What is she talking about? Flying outside the body. Bring the awareness in right now. Bring the awareness down into the danjan, 2 inches below your navel, into that womb area. Bring the awareness right now. Is it hot? Is it cold? What's it like in that area? And when you come back into the body and unite in that way, you can start to grow your energy simply from your awareness of where you're placing it inside the body. Okay, that's part of energy training. We have you do all these tappings and everything, because people, these are the training wheels of being able to, when you do this, you're tapping. Where does your mind go? To where you're tapping. Most people, right? They don't zone out quite yet. They're like, why are we hitting ourselves? So as you tap, 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 you place the awareness there. Okay, now we've taken you from being homeless outside the home of your body, and we've taken you back home into the body. And now there's a different groundedness, a different centeredness. Right now, if I'm talking to you, there's a difference, and I'll try to demonstrate this. When I'm in my danjan talking, present, I tend to go slower. I have to think and feel through what I'm about to say, even though I don't know what I'm going to say. So this is danjan speaking. Versus, if I'm talking to you all the way from my head, I'm going really, really fast. I'm totally flying out. My energy's all around. It's scattered. You feel probably scattered right now too, because I'm totally not in my body. And most people talk like this and live like this, and their energy's not in their body, right? Totally different energy that you get to experience, is it not? And ideally, you're not just talking from the danjan, you're talking through your energy line. This sound and vibration as energy coming out of my mouth is grounded from both heaven and earth. Heaven, top down and bottom up, into your danjan, your main energy systems in the 2nd chakra and the 4th chakra, the heart. So your gut and your heart. Speak from there. Smile. Breathe deep. and you will start to shift your energy. That is part of energy training, to activate your soul's system in the body. There's a million exercises, like over 300 in our practice of Qigong, to activate your energy system. There's many ways. Okay, so as you do all this energy training, you're going to detox. Most of my students from a class, my live in-person ones, they're like, oh my gosh, Master Anna, they're like, I'm sore. And we just did these tiny little exercises. I don't get it, right? I didn't have them like doing hardcore motions, yet they're sore. And it's because A, we're moving probably parts of your body you've never moved, but B, you're activating your meridians and blockages. So when you can purify your energy through shaking, the twisting, all the stuff we do, the intestinals, it's detoxing your body of all those unhelpful, unwanted thoughts, emotions, memories, attachments, desires, ego-based notions that are all inside the body. Okay, so when you're shaking it, literally just doing this, I encourage you to do it now if you haven't. Keep tapping the danjan and or doing intestinals, because that's purifying the energy. We're actually taking heavy, dark, suppressed energy and making it brighter and lighter so we can go ascend. Okay, it's so simple, really, but not all energy is the same. Obviously there's gonna be difference of frequency, brightness, and its clarity. So that's where our choice comes in, that we have the power. You don't have to depend on a guru or go do some crazy aesthetic practice, on a fast for 30 days, or you don't have to do, you can, not against any of those things. I love all those things. It's that you have the power right here, right now, in this moment, to activate and choose to activate and purify your energy for your soul's completion, for your soul's growth. So, the 5 steps. Oh my gosh, this time goes by so fast. Again, ask any questions. I'm going through a lot right now. So, this is my energy master again, Ilchi Li. Ilchi Li, the name Ilchi means the finger that points to the way. So I love it because his name isn't about him at all. He doesn't care if he has followers or anything. He's like, no, I'm just showing the way. So come here, okay, go that way. That's the way to your soul's growth and completion. So the 5 steps of brain education he developed, and here they are. So number 1 is brain sensitizing. So why we're talking about the brain is because the brain has the divinity, right? If you don't know how to use your brain and your thoughts and emotions have you don't have them, then all this other talk, even the physical stuff we do, isn't going to make as much of a difference, if at all, without us taking back our brains from the ego, from our circumstances, from our victim mentality, whatever, right? Our survival stuff going on with the hormones. Until we can master the brain through these 5 steps, it's going to be very hard to integrate into the body. Now we can use the body to help with these 5 steps of the brain, but let me go over them. So number 1 is sensitizing. And that's like when we're tapping ourselves, dancing, and doing all the things we do, you're waking up and activating and sensitizing to your body. You're like, oh, I feel my body. Oh, it's painful here. But whatever you feel, at least you're aware versus being totally numb and in your head all the time. Okay, number 1, so that's sensitizing. Number 2 is versatilizing, brain versatilizing. And that means that you have flexibility in your brain. You can think from different perspectives. You can, take something bad and be shush. You can say, I accept, I receive it. I'm going to find the silver lining, okay? Step 3 is brain refreshing. That's the clearing all your, I was going to say your shit. All your poo-poo, all of your heavy energy. So that's refreshing. Number 4 is brain integrating. And this is where you now can apply what you're learning in the Qigong and the brain into life. You're living it. Okay, and number 5 is brain mastery. And this is where you can creatively create anything and manifest it very easily. So out of those 5 steps of brain education, which is about discovering your brain's latent potential and really fully realizing the highest value that it can offer as the source of, right, divinity in that 6th chakra. Each of these 5 steps relate to the 3 parts of the brain I was talking about. So you've got your brain stem, which is like your survival. It's also what runs all your autonomic nervous, your heartbeat. There's so much the body's doing without us trying, right? The heart is beating, the blood is flowing, you are breathing, you are digesting, you are excreting, like all that stuff kind of happens, and that's the brainstem's job. And then you've got the second part of the brain is the limbic system, which is your feeling brain. That's kind of a shorthand nickname. And this is like all of our emotions. Okay, and then you've got the third part of the brain is the neocortex, and that's the executive functioning, the thing that makes decisions, the thing that makes choices, that's unique and bigger in us than many other animals, but it's also where we ask ourselves, what is the purpose of my life? Why am I here? That other animals don't care about or ask necessarily. So each of those 5 steps corresponds to those 5 steps of brain education. And essentially you can think of it like step 1 and 2 is actually utilizing the neocortex, and then coming in to the feeling brain, which is number 3, which is brain refreshing. That's like all the energy release and the trauma release that's in the body. You have to go down into the deeper, right, into the brain. And then really where the real change happens is in the brain stem. And that's steps 4 and 5 of being able to integrate and master and reshift your own values in life so that you're not run by this survival, but able to ascend or transcend it. So you can think of the steps like going inward that correspond with the brain. Okay? I hope this makes sense because I usually draw this, but that's okay. Okay, so that's that. And then the last thing I want to talk about, yay, I'm trying to time myself, okay, are the 5 principles of your brain operating system, BOS, boss. So there's 5 principles that it's kind of like, if this is the hardware that we've been talking about, right, with the actual brain, it's like the hardware of a computer, like the actual keyboard and screen. Then there's the software that programs it. So these are kind of like the 5 brain principles of your brain operating system. Okay, so you can look to this as a guideline to be able to walk yourself through the layers of the 5 steps of brain education we just talked about. So number 1, boss principle is to pay attention. Wake up, pay attention. Like, be here now. Not in the past, not in the future. Not about your thoughts and your emotions. It's you being able to say, I am not my thoughts and my emotions. I am not my thoughts. I have thoughts, right? I'm not my body. I have a body. I am not my feelings. I have feelings. So you're switching the ownership from being the victim. I feel so stressed. I am overwhelmed. I am stressed. Please watch what you say after the 2 words I am, because it creates it into space and energy. So instead of saying those things where you're the victim,